Now, the war in Ukraine has entered its second month as the death toll and the humanitarian crisis gets worse. And while there are no Australian soldiers in the fight, there are Aussie boots on the ground.
The human face of a humanitarian crisis.
We left everything. We have known nothing.
A growing tide of people fleeing their homeland. 2 million and counting.
Just been another air raid siren gone off. So everyone's headed down to the bunker, which is where I'm going to go now. As we approach the border, I've walked with this grandmother for a while now.
Every day, James Elder works among them.
She's helped her granddaughter here. They've left them in Kiev.
Helping them escape.
They lived under bombardment for days. She's at the end of what's been about a 7-kilometre walk getting to the border. They have no one in Poland. But as she said, she will walk for as long as she needs to protect her granddaughter.
James is UNICEF's global spokesman and has been in and out of Ukraine for the past month.
This is a hospital, so these are behind me doctors and paediatricians and obstetricians, and it's not actually, and a lot of pregnant women too, a lot of women who are 7-8 months pregnant. It's not actually a bunker as well, you might see here. It's actually a basement, but it's what they've got at the moment. And because of the attacks, the ongoing indiscriminate attacks in Mariupol, in Kharkiv, in Kiev, on hospitals, then the medical staff here and the pregnant mothers understandably feel that they need any protection they've got.
James, you've worked in some of the world's most dangerous war zones. How is what you're seeing in Ukraine different?
What's striking me here, of course, too, is just the speed and the scale. When we talk about 1 in 2 Ukrainian children, 1 in every 2 has fled their homes, that's what I haven't seen. There's just a lot of sorrow and a lot of sadness and a lot of stress, and I can't quite remember the suffocating sense of that.
While James has the backing of the United Nations Children's Fund,
military stuff?
Yeah.
Military issue?
Military and civilian.
2 others are doing it off their own bat. In Lviv train station, we find Daniel Russell, as Aussie as they come. Daniel, 2 months ago, the federal government told Australians to get out of Ukraine immediately. Why did you decide to stay?
Good question. Baby food, the law, and all that good stuff. Snags. Sort of started with my missus. She's Ukrainian.
And Roger Stone.
This is a very personal thing for me.
2 mates from Melbourne living in Poland who couldn't stand by as Ukraine goes through hell.
Going to go pick up a few of her family members in the Ukraine and brought them back to safety in Poland, and then the other one called. And another one called, and they got the gist of it, so we got a few of them out, and then it sort of rolled off from there.
They've bought a bus to take supplies across the Polish border.
We were buying generators and supplies to keep the forces warm, boots and things like that.
Then transport refugees back.
So we've done 53. I'm probably going to leave Lviv maybe tomorrow or the next day, and I'll probably look at grabbing as many more as I can.
Roger, it must be nerve-wracking crossing the Polish border into Ukraine.
Yeah, look, I'll tell you, I won't lie. It felt pretty sketchy going into Ukraine. The first time I'm going to passport control there, not knowing whether they'd pull you up on all this. First time, I think we waited about 13 hours to get through.
Basing themselves in the relative calm of Lviv in Ukraine's west, they dread what might come as the Russian invasion stalls and becomes increasingly desperate and brutal.
Unfortunately, I can't see the guy backing down. So with that in the back of my head, it seems like it's just going to drag on and on and on.
What happens next is something Jim, Daniel and Roger don't have time to think about.
I prefer to just put that aside and just focus on the fact that Ukrainians need help. What can we do about it? That's the only thing I can really have an impact on.
It's all about the here and now.
Biggest aims right now are, first and foremost, keep children alive, to be honest.
And while most of the refugees want to return one day, they fear what they will be going back to.
I think the ones that we've taken out, they've come from Odessa, they've come from Donetsk and Mariupol, and there's nothing to go back to.
Everybody loves our motherland. Everybody. Sorry.
Some very brave Australians putting others first. And if you would like to contribute, all the details are on our homepage.